Hello, Nigel with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. Welcome back, or welcome along if you're new. If you are new, please hit the subscribe down there and give us a like or a dislike, however you feel. So it all helps. So it's time for a new project. We finished the Gannet. So what are we going to do? I thought I'd bring a bit of variation into the channel and do something I haven't done before. And there we go. Here it is. This is the Meng, Minge, whatever you want to call them. This is the June Harkonnen Ornithopter, and I reviewed this kit last Sunday when I got back from the Gloucester show where I bought it, and it came from Mainly Military Models, which is this company here, and he did me a great price, so thank you very much, Phil, for that. So let's open the box. We're not doing reviews because we've already done one, but we're going to have a look at the kit. We'll have a look at the instructions first. So what we're going to do first, it is all bagged up. I've done a review of all the bags have been open, so somebody suggested I need to get myself a de-stapler. So first of all, in the instructions we've got all these notes on the front, and it's all sort of hints and tips. If you remember when I did the review, I wasn't sure about the whether it had to be glued or whether it was snap tight. Somebody's come on and told me it's snap tight, but you will see in a minute that I actually realised it's probably not, but we will see as we go. If there's some bits, it's like Bandai, they go together, and it's almost like they kind of give you the choice, and I think they're trying to go down the same road as Bandai here, but yeah, enough said about that. Straight away from looking at this, I've been looking around on the internet for references for colours for interiors and stuff, and although they're saying here the seats are all black, in my opinion those pads on those seats are very dark brown, and I just want to add a bit of interest because there's so much detail missing. There's so much that could be in here. There's control panels and all sorts everywhere, and there's nothing. It's just this console, two joysticks there, and that's it. And then we have the sort of pretty much flat floor, and then we've got the flat sides, and that's pretty much it. So the first thing it's telling you to do is build up this cockpit. So we need L1, which is handily there, that's in the top, and we need E10, E27 and E25. Now, where is the sprue map? I'm sure there was a sprue map. Yes, there is. E is the part with the landing gear and the narrower floor on it. So luckily, it's the next bag down. There we go. So there's the floor for the other one, the Armenian Ornithopter, whatever it is, and you can see the cockpit floors are the same, basically. So it's just this sprue is added, and obviously a bigger body. So obviously the rest of the Ornithopter is the same. So here we need E27 and E10. So there's E26. Where's 27? You would think E27 would be next to E26, wouldn't you? E27, where are you? There's E10, so there's 27 there. So we'll take these off the gates and we'll get them cleaned up. Okay, so there's E27 over there. E25, which we need, is here, and then E16, which is, where's 16? There's 15, there's 16 there. So that looks like rudder pedals. So, or some sort of pedals. So there we go. So we've got those parts there, and we also need this one here, which is L1. Just cut that off the sprues. If you are new to the hobby, you're a beginner, I've done a beginner's video all about tools, so you'll see me using side cutters and stuff, and you'll see me using sanding sticks and files. I've covered all that in a separate video. If I think of it, I'll put a link in the description below, and then you can go have a look at that. That's only for if you're new to the hobby. Obviously, I can't go doing tool videos in it, every single video I do. I've got my these are the sanding twigs for Mickey Sticky, and I'm loving them. Since we've lost the Phil Flory sanding sticks, we haven't lost Phil Flory, thank God, but we've lost his sanding sticks. The skinny sticks. He doesn't do them anymore. Any sanding sticks, I don't think. So there's been nothing really much about. There's been the big ammo ones, and there's the UMP ones, but really these things are a really good direct replacement. And they also, one of the biggest moans people always had with Phil sticks is they never gave you the grit size. Well, these do. Phil was just like fine, medium and coarse, and in my opinion, fine, medium and coarse is absolutely fine. So I'm going to go on and get these bits cleaned up, and then we'll get stage 1 done. I'm not going to have you sit here and watch me do remove all the sprue gates and everything. So I'm going to get that done, and then we'll move on and get some assembly work. See you in a second. Right, so we've got those parts cleaned up. So we've got E10, E27, E25 and E16. So somebody told me this is a snap together kit. I mean, yes, it does snap together, but it comes apart very easily. So I actually believe it's not a snap together kit. So these pink areas here, they're showing you where the cement goes, I think. So I'm going to use this one here. This is Tamiya Extra Thin. This is just the ordinary dark green top. You can get the quick setting one as well. And I say this for the newer modelers out there. And the beauty of it is it's a liquid. You apply it afterwards. You don't apply it first, like with the Revell contactor stuff or whatever. You apply it afterwards. So that glue will capillary in there and we get a lovely joint. You'll also notice I'm doing all this assembly before painting, because basically it's all black. We'll pick out some details with some different shades of black. But basically it's easier to do this now and then paint it, because when you glue you get the paint, messing with the glue and everything. So we've got this area here, and this is like the little control panel or something. So I'm guessing we'll add some gloss or something onto that. I don't know. Finding images of this is very hard. So we got to just use artistic license. I'm not even sure how much of this can be seen. I've just noticed there's a piece of flash on there. And flash is a result of the moulding. It's what it's called. It's a very thin slither of plastic you get off an edge. This blue plaster, I'm right in the wars lately. I've come up with it, I can hurt my shoulder, and then the other day I was getting a pizza out of the oven and the tray slipped and I went to grab it and put my hand straight on the actual the rack itself. So that's going to go in there. So I'm just covering that burn up so you don't have to look at it because it's horrible. So that is a very, very tight fit in that hole. And it doesn't want to go in. So am I doing something wrong? Have I got the wrong part? Is it the wrong way round? Nope, it's that way round. It doesn't look like it's going to go in there. So I'm not sure if it's too wide or if it's too long or whatever. Oh, there we go, it's gone in now. Maybe there's a bit of flash in the hole as well. So there we go, we can put a drop of cement on the back of there. There we go, that's that together. Make sure it's nice and straight, because we're probably going to see that when we look through the nose glazing. Just pulling it straight so it's perpendicular to the floor. Another little drop of cement in there just to make sure it's in there nice and solid. There we go, that's better. Right. So there we go. So that's part of step 1 done. Now we've got these control levers, and they go into the floor on these pins here, and then they have control levers that face inwards. So this one's going to go into this hole here. Again, oh, okay, I thought that was too small, but it's not. And then this one is going to go into this hole here, just like so. There we go, and then put a drop of cement on the back of there, drop on there, job done. So that's all good. So that's those control levers in there, you can see, and the I guess you call it the instrument panel. And obviously his seat is going to go in the middle of there, and then he's going to sit in there. So the next part of the instruction, now we're on to step 2. It's telling us to paint all this MC001, which is black. And the next part, we've got 4 of these seats, E30 going on to base E15. Now I've got the E sprue here still. So we've got E30, we've got 5 of those. 1 doesn't have the holes in. You can see these 4 have holes in and 1 doesn't. So we'll get those off the sprue, and then we've got E15 here, which are the seat bases, and we've got 5 of those as well. So I'm going to get them off the sprue, get them cleaned up, and then we'll see how they go together. Right, so we can see we got our 5 seats here. Reason I've done 5, it says here to do the 4, but then when we get on to the next step, we're going to do this one without the hole in. That's just going to go back there. So you've got the option to put a, you know, if you've got a 72nd scale Star Wars figure or something, you could put that in there for a laugh, couldn't you? Whatever, but basically these are going to glue on. So the shorter legs you've got on these parts here, E15, you've got a shorter leg and a longer leg, and the shorter, smaller leg is going forwards. So that's going to go in there like that. I'm just going to put a drop of cement. I honestly wouldn't trust this as a snap together, guys. So that's going to go like that, and then the rest of these are all going to be exactly the same. And there we go. So there's our 5 seats. So next part of the instructions is assembling the pilot figure, and then we've got these 3 we've only got 3. I know we've got 3, so that's the pilot figure there. So it's the same seats for all, so you can't mix them up. And you can see it's telling you here to paint the pilot figures, which I've done before I started making the video, because I am not in any way, shape or form a figure painter. I am useless. So I've gone on and done them, and there they are. And basically all I've done is I've painted, I've given them an airbrush. Okay, so there they are now. They've had an airbrush of Outlaw Paints black primer, and I like this black primer because, one, it sticks like the proverbial to a blanket to the plastic. It goes on very, very fine, and it's not black. As you can see, it's a very, very dark grey. So that's the base, and then the actual the uniforms themselves have had a black wash and then a dry brush with white. I also picked out the buckles in the middle with a metallic grey. The flesh, I had these game colours here. I didn't like the flesh colour of Tamiya, so this is bronze flesh tone, so that's like nicely suntanned, and this is bone white. So I mixed those two together, probably 60-40, something like that, to get this nice flesh tone you see on those. And then I've just gone over with a brown oil wash and then give them a white dry brush, and there you can see. And I messaged Luke and said, how'd you go about this, mate? And he went into all this about Citadel paints and everything, and I said, well, I haven't got them, but basically that's what I've done. I think in this application, 72nd scale, you know, I'm not going to bother trying to paint lips and eyes and everything, because your lips are basically the same colour as the rest of your face, and eyes are just, you know, they're shadows at that sort of scale. So you can see we've got them there, and you know, we've picked up a bit of features. They've got a bit of a sheen from the dry brushing, and yeah, so they're all bold, so I couldn't give them different colour hair or anything. And I've looked at the snippet in the film, and they're all white as well, so no diversity going on there. And we're following the instructions. So basically these are going to fit into these seats. So that one, I'm not going to fit them in now if they're a tight fit, because I want to paint the seats. They are quite a snug fit. You can see they're going to go in there, and then these seats in turn will go into the floor like so. Okay, so that's going to be like that. So what I'm going to do is fit the seats without the men. Okay, because I'm going to basically paint this all black and then pick out details. So they've gone in there nice and tight. The one without the hole goes on this side, so that one's going to go in there. So I've jumped ahead now. And obviously, as I say, I'm not putting the pilots in or the figures in now, because I want to paint this. Right, so that one's going to go in there. All the seats are identical, you can't mix them up. There we go, so that's all going in there. They are a nice snug fit. You probably would get away without gluing these. And then that's going to go in there like that. Okay, so you would get away with it, but I'm not going to chance it. I don't want to fall out while I'm painting it or dry brushing it or something, so it's easier just to put a couple of drops of cement in just to support them. And I can see there I'd forgotten to cement those joysticks in. So there we go. I'm just going to grab my tweezers, wherever they may be. Here they are. I'm just going to make sure those joysticks are control columns, whatever you want to call them. Make sure they're pushed in properly, and they are. So I also just want to do a quick test fit with the pine, although I'm not going to worry about it. I can always move those afterwards. I just want to make sure his hands go on there, but he's probably going to be quite a tight fit into the seat. So maybe he won't be, let's see. He's going to go between those control columns like that. His feet are going to go on the rudder pedals, and his bottom's going to go in the seat like that. And as you can see, his hands fall perfectly on those control arms. So there we go. There's our pilot installed. We're going to get him out again. Evacuate. And then we're going to get this all painted up. But I'm not going to get it all painted up now because, as you can see, we've got all this here, which has all got to be painted black. And then if you look further forward in the instructions, we've got these mountings for the blades. And this one here, the first one you build, forms the rear bulkhead of the cockpit. So that's going to have to be painted as well. And also the interior sides of the cockpit as well. And also the roof. So what I'm going to do is get all of these units here built up. How are we doing for time? Well, we're okay for time. We've already done 15 minutes. So we're going to get all these units here built up, and we can get those painted, and then we can get all of this off the sprues, so we can get the side there, the ramp, the other side, and the roof, and we'll get them. We'll paint the inside of that as well with that black colour. So there we go. We've got lots to do. So let's get on with assembling these. So these are on the B and the C sprue. Which one was this? This one was E. So I'm going to put this one back in its bag. I like to keep the sprues, again for the newer models, I like to keep the sprues in the bags because that way when they slide around with each other, nothing gets damaged. If you have them without the bags, they tend to damage themselves. So we'll put that one over there. We can also get that one there out of the way now. Is this the B sprue here? This is the B sprue here. So we're going to do these one at a time so we don't get any confusion. So I want B12 and B9, C14 and C15, G7s and G4s. Now they've all got G4s, they got G8s, C17 and 16. So these parts here are generic by the look of it. But we'll get these off the sprue. We'll get our nice little cockpit out of the way so they don't get damaged. So we've got B12 and B9. So there's B9. And then there's B12. There we go. So that's those off. As I say, we'll just do one at a time so we don't get confused. Okay, and then the next sprue we want is C. I can see here we've got, this is going to be G. So this is G, so we've got G7s. Why don't you come apart? There you go. That's the problem. So when you've got sprues together, they do get stuck. So we've got two G4s. Get two of those off. Notice I leave a bit of sprue gate on there for cleanup. Whoops, be careful not to damage our people. And then we've got two G7s. This one uses G8s and this one uses G7s. Not quite sure what the difference is. So this is a 7 here. This is get that one off of there, and then we're going to grab this other sprue because they're identical. And we've got a 7 there, and then next to it there, that is the 8. It looks like the 8 is slightly deeper perhaps. So there's the 7. So we've got the 7s. Now we need the C sprue. So we'll leave those out of the bag for now because what does the C sprue look like? The C sprue has that bit there, so we'll look for that bit there. There we go, next one down in the box. This is the C sprue, so we can get this one out, and we need C14 and C15. So make sure you get the right ones of these, because these might well be different. So we've got 15 and it's got R and L marked on it, so we can't get them mixed up. Lovely, and we'll put this one back in its bag to prevent any damage, which is easier said than done, especially when you've got a plaster on your hand that's coming off. Oh dear. Right, so I'm going to get these parts all cleaned up. So that's the parts we need. So C14, 15, B9 and B12, G4s and G7s, and then we're going to get this put together. So I'll get these cleaned up and then I'll come back and show you how it goes together. Okay, so here we go. Right, so step 2, let's get that magnifier out of the way. So we've got B9 here, this is B9, and what we're going to do is telling us to put these, so we've got R1 is going to go that way. Okay, so the R is going on the left. Now, unfortunately, that is a very tight fit in there. Maybe it's designed that way so that the blades don't just droop down. Let's see. And then we've got here, we've got L1, and we've got to make sure we get these meshed correctly. Now, as you can see, it's easy to put them like that. Okay, or least exaggerated, we can put them like that. So it's 1, 2, 3, so you can see we've got a step at the top. They have to go like that so they work together, and then we can work them together for our blades going up and down. So put them together like that and then push everything fully home. So they are actually quite firm, but I think they've done it that way on purpose. I mean, I'm not going to be playing with this anyway. It's going to be positionable, which is good. I guess if they were loose, they would just the blades would all just drop down. So I'm putting that like that because that's the way they're telling us to put it. And then we're going to put this together onto here. So again, we've got ejector pin marks here, you can see. So I'm just going to quickly just check they're not going to cause any fit issues. They're not sticking out, so they're okay. So these 2 pins here are going to go into these 2 holes here, and then we've got a various array of pins on there. They're going to go together. As you can see, that all snaps together like that, and they move together like so. I can push one down, as you can see, push one down and the other side moves. So that's all good. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is actually put some cement in here to hold these together. So I'm going to put a drop down there. I'm going to put a drop down there. I can also put a drop on the back of these pins, not the pivoting pins. Don't put glue on these, you'd want those to remain movable. Okay, so that's like that, and then I can put a drop in the middle here as well. All of this is not going to, none of this is going to be seen on the finished model other than this. So we're going to paint that black. So that's all held together nicely there. Right. And now what it's saying is to put these parts on here, G4. So they're going to go on over the pins. Now we've got, that's interesting. Okay, right, what we've got here, you can see we've got a D-shaped hole so that the blades go in and can't pivot. They'll be able to go up and down and pivot back, but they won't turn. And you can see that down here we have a rib. You have also 2 slots in the side, one here and one here. So they go over these pins, and the rib is going to go into that slot in the bottom of there. Alright, so basically if you try and put it upside down, you can line these slots up on the sides, but it won't go. You need to have it that way round, and then it goes in and click. Okay, the way it says K there, I was assuming that was a click. and I was expecting it to be quite a big click, but it's not. It's quite easy. So that goes together, and here we go. So that's gone in really easy. And then it's telling us to put these parts here, G7, on the outside. So they are symmetrical by the look of it. No, they're not. They have a tab there. So we've got cutouts there for the pivots on the side, and we've got a tab in the top. So that's how that's going to locate in there. And that's just going to push down onto there. Now, this side's exactly the same. Just like that. Okay. What I'm going to do here is a tiny drop of extra thin on that tab, just to hold these in place, because it looks like to me, we'll have a look through the instructions, when this goes together, it looks like the bodywork of the actual ornithopter itself is going to hold them in. So I'm just going to put a couple of drops of glue on there just in case. So I'll put a drop down there and a drop in the bottom of that one as well. And that will just help them to lock into place. Alright, so there's... I need to put something, let's find a little bit of wood or something to put in there. So you can see there's our mechanism all working. Remember again, don't put glue on those pins there, they're the pivots, you don't want them moving. Okay, so that, my friends, is that. Must make sure that when we paint it, we move them right down and paint, and then lift them right up and paint under there. But that doesn't look quite right to me. It looks like it's off, but when I look in here, I can see that's how it's supposed to be. It kind of looks like it's uneven. All right. But, there we go. So there we are. So that's that one done. And I'm basically going to do the same on this one, and then they're asking us to assemble the floor into there before we do anything else. I don't know why. We may as well go on and get this done. But I think what I will do, in fact, no, what we'll do it to the book. We'll get these two, I'll get this built up, and then we're going to get some painting done, I think. So let me get the other one built up, and then I'll come back. They actually go together as well. And we'll go from there. Okay, so as you can see, we've built these two up. I did build the third one up because what I want to do, as I said to you earlier, when these mechanisms are like this, I want to get the paint in there, and I want to get the paint in there, because believe me, if we end up painting this black or dark grey or whatever, any of this browny green plastic showing through, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. So what we've done, obviously we've done all this, you know we got that built up. The canopy framing here, I've cleaned out, there's a few mould seams on there, it's beautifully moulded. So I've got that all. I'm going to give that a quick coat of primer. It should show up any issues, but at least we can get the inside of that painted. We've got this ramp on the back. That's going to go in the side of the fuselage like so. Where's that going? In there. So that's going to go in there like that, and then that must not be glued in. It doesn't say anywhere, do not cement. So be careful, that mustn't be glued in, because that needs to pivot. As you'll see later in the instructions, here, when we fit the... Is it right near the end? Yes, here we go. We're building up the undercarriage. Okay, so landing gear deployed, landing gear retracted. And if you have it deployed, that ramp is going to come down and join the ramp that's on the undercarriage. You can see there's a ramp here. Okay, you can see that ramp there. So that's going to let you look up inside there. So that's all we need to be black inside. But if you actually have it closed, you've got to fold it down. So when you don't glue it in, just put it in without cement. It's a bad one, that is. They should put in the instructions, do not cement. So yeah, it's a bit strange the way they've done this. I mean, they've got like this area in here, and it's like there's glue going in there, and no, you don't want to be gluing them in. So basically, in fact, I don't think they even, I think these will come out. I don't think they even have tubes on them from memory, do they? I don't think they would actually glue in where they're showing you them gluing in. But maybe I can pull this out with this piece of wood, wedge that in there and tip it sideways. Come on, come on. No, it doesn't want to come. I put it quickly. Now, maybe this one will come. But yeah, I don't think they need to be glued in anyway, because they're just in there. I mean, this one, they're not going to come out of there. But as I say, I want to be able to swivel them and get them into position so I can make sure there's black paint, dark grey paint, whatever it is, all over them, so we don't have any bits and pieces sticking out. Got the top piece off here, that's going to fit into there. You can see this is an absolutely stunning fit on here. It's gorgeous. So we're going to get that fitted up like that. There's a mould seam there which I haven't cleaned up. There's a mould seam there, look. Just going to get rid of that and lightly rub it with a worn 400 stick. Just take out the little step from the mould seam and then get the 1000 grit sponge and just polish it so the mould seam disappears like so. So there we go, so that's all done, that's all ready for painting. So we're going to paint all of this with the Outlaw Black Primer, only on the inside. This one here is going in that way round, so that one is going to be visible. Okay, so that's going to sit on there and there like that. So when that ramps down, that's going to be visible up in there, so that needs to be black as well. So there we go. I do like the look of it with the undercarriage deployed, I must be honest, rather than retracted. But you can have it in both. And we've got a stand. And we've got pilots, so we can have it flying and we can have it stood on the ground. Right, so I'm going to get some black painting done. And then I will see you back here in a couple of days, or whatever it is, for part 2. Thank you for watching. Hope you've got something from this. I'm enjoying it. And it looks like it's going to be a very, very quick build. Because already our box is practically half empty. So although I have got a couple of screws over there, sorry, misguided you there. So we're about a third, we've used about a third up already. So see you in a minute, see you back. I'm using the Outlaw Black Primer, as you know, and I'll see you back when that's all done, and we'll get some detail painting done on these seats and everything, get our pilots installed, and then we can start getting all this together. Right, thank you for watching. Bye for now.